looking for 3 different answers. A conceptual definition would be great, an operational definition, and also an expression definition. Okay, so I wrote them here on the board behind me, and these are basically the answers that I ask my students to give me when I ask them, what's a fraction? They give me at least one of these or all 3 of these things. So the first thing is a conceptual definition. It's part of a whole. It's part of something else. We'll talk about that in just a second. It has an operational definition, and it's a division. And we'll get to that in a second too. And then it has 3 ways of being expressed: fraction form, decimal form, and a percent. Okay. So part of a whole. What does that mean? I think to understand what part of a whole means, we have to understand what a whole is first. So what is a whole? A whole is a complete entity. But this whole, and especially in mathematics, especially in word problems, usually it can be a distance, like a longitude, or it can be weight, maybe that's in pounds or ounces or kilos or something like that. And it can be volume, like a gallon of water or something, okay, a gallon of milk. But it gets a little bit bigger than that too. But a whole can be anything in any unit of measure, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So for a couple of examples could be like a whole lifetime, an apple, an orange, the day, a year. So basically, I think the key here to look for when you're reading a word problem, look for the articles. Articles are like the word a, an, like an orange, right? Or the, like the day or the trip, okay? Or the mile, I don't know, one of those things, okay? And then the fraction will be part of that. It's less than that. Remember that the whole is one whole thing. It's one. It's one. It's not more than one, it's one. One whole thing will be the whole. And the fraction will be part of that whole. It's less than that one whole thing. Okay? So I have students that get that confused all the time, especially in word problems. You know, like, I don't know, just off the top of my head, I guess, like, John goes for a run every day. He likes to run 10 miles. And by, 10 minutes in, he is an eighth of the distance of his run. What's the whole? You know, some people say 10 miles. No. The whole needs to be one thing, not 10 things, right? So, in other words, the whole in this little example that I just made up was the run, or his daily run. That's the whole thing. Okay? So just pay attention to that, and I think that really helps solve a lot of the fraction word problems if we can just identify what the whole is first, okay? Good. Moving on, division, the operational side of it. Well, you know, the idea of division is ancient, and the calculator is relatively new, you know. And so we needed a way of, when they came up with the calculator, they needed to put a symbol on the button. And what's the symbol they had to use? They used a division. But really, this division sign is actually, it's a fraction. It's something divided by something. The dots are just something, okay, like numbers. So you can put 1 over 2, or 1 over 4, or 2 over 5, whatever, right? But it's funny that that's actually a fraction, and we don't really look at it like a fraction. We just say, oh, that's division, right? But it's actually a fraction. It's something over something. So always remember that when you have a fraction, there's always a division that you can do. Okay? And the last part here is that fractions have 3 ways of being expressed. You can express it in a fraction, you can express a fraction in a decimal, and you can express a fraction or a decimal in a percent. And the work that you guys need to be able to do is to convert back and forth from any one of these. If they give you a percent, you should be able to get the decimal and get the fraction. If they give you a fraction, for example, you need to be able to get the decimal and the percent, and vice versa. All the different manipulations. Okay? So, what is a fraction? Fraction is less than 1, less than a whole. It's a division, and it has 3 ways of being expressed.